This is going to be a long-term report on the Motorola Buds headphones. This will supplement the first review that I did, and I've had these for about 10 months now, and I've gotten some comments or questions on my channel about how durable these are in the long term. So I've had two minor issues with these. The one very minor, and that is it's got these little rubber plugs in the back, I guess to give it some grip on your neck so they don't turn too easily. One of them came out. Fortunately, I found it and I was able to glue it back in. The other one, and ironically I just noticed it right before starting this review, so it was good timing. It's got some rubber material underneath, again probably to give it some grip on your neck, and this is actually coming up, so I'm going to glue that back down. But as far as the performance of these, they're still going really strong. The buttons still have a very positive feel. I've not noticed any of these getting loose or degrading in their performance. So that's good. And the sound is still very good on these. And I really am impressed with the sound of these. They sound good even for a $70 wired headphone. But to be Bluetooth as well, I think they sound really good. And you know, I compare them to some pretty high-end headphones. For example, the Dunu DN1000s. This is a triple driver earphone, and it's got two balanced armatures and one dynamic driver per side. So the sound of the Motorola Buds is very, very clear. It's not quite as warm and natural sounding as a higher end earphone, but again, the clarity is still very good on these. The bass is fairly strong, but the bass on these that I've really noticed over the months of listening to these is it can kind of actually put some pressure on your eardrum in a way that no other earphone that I've used does. And in order to get good bass, you have to get a very good seal. And like I said in my first review, you have to have this probably a size larger than you think you would normally use, because it really has got to cover your ear to give it a good seal. If you don't, there's almost no bass. But once you get it to seal, it's very good. And it does take just working these around for a few seconds to get that seal. But on music that has heavy bass, it actually puts some pressure on your eardrum, so you can't really go up too loud. So that's something to consider. Some people have asked me how sweat-proof these are, and they're not advertised as being sweat-proof headphones, but I think they've held up pretty well. Now, whether or not the rubber material coming off on the bottom is a result of sweat, it probably could be. But I use these mainly for mountain biking in Florida, where you sweat probably more than any other area of the country. We get a lot of thunderstorms in the afternoons, and that creates a lot of moisture in the woods, so the humidity is actually higher in the woods, and you combine the Florida heat with the humidity, results in profuse sweating. So as far as the electronics and the performance, it has not caused any issues. Again, I've been using these for about 10 months, and this is at the end of August, so summer's kind of coming to a close, and I've used them all summer for mountain biking. So really, fortunately, they still work great as a headphone. I haven't gotten caught in the rain with these. Actually, maybe a light drizzle, but I just kind of tucked them in my jersey and carried on, so no issues. But if you got caught in a rainstorm or dropped them in water, I'm not sure if they would continue to work. But for sweating, so far they've been really good. One thing that's slightly annoying that I've noticed on these is every once in a while, if I have them in my work bag or my workout bag, this power button will push on. So something in the bag pushes up against it, and you got to hold it down for about 5 seconds, as I showed in my first review, to turn it on. So that's a little annoying. I compared these to the LG Tone Plus. The LGs actually have a slider button, which that could also get turned on as well in the bag. But That didn't happen with those as much as it does with these, so that's one thing to consider. Another thing worth mentioning is if you like to wear these outside of a collar, especially a stiff collar, and even one that like buttons into a shirt, it's hard to get these to feel right because the plastic is so stiff. It is hard to get them to form around the collar, as again compared to the LG Tone earphones. Those are more flexible, and you can bend those around a collar. So again, something to consider. Now, I will say, if you like tucking these underneath the collar, these are really nice because they're smaller than, again, the LG Tone Plus, and they can fit underneath the collar under a shirt a little bit easier. And so it's just a matter of how you like to wear them. Obviously, with a t-shirt, it really doesn't matter. With a cycling jersey or workout type jersey or shirt, it's not going to really matter. So that'll wrap up my quick long-term review of the Motorola Buds. To sum it up, I do think these are a very cost-effective headphone if you need to use them for exercising, things like that, working around the house or whatever, where you need your hands totally free and away from wires. They're holding up well, other than the rubber pieces coming off and needing to be glued back on. Thanks for watching.